What's up, guys? Welcome to the Thursday Night Football Show. I'm Ivan Vargas. Got my boy back, Marco Velasquez, back from New York. It was, I know, I'm sure it was a fun trip for the family. I'm
It
sure
was.
football wise, it was a little bit rough.
I think it went down a couple points because of that game. I would have given it a perfect 10 out of 10, but definitely it hurt.
It hurt. It hurt to come back home with a loss. I know. Welcome back. Obviously, I hope you guys had fun up there. I mean, the experience of just going somewhere to somebody else's stadium. You know what I mean, and taking that all in. And I'm sure, like I've been up to when I was in Washington, I've been to Seattle games against the Bears preseason, but it's still kind of it's different, but it's cool at the same time. I'm glad you guys had a chance to go ahead and experience that and everything, even though it was a loss. It
Yeah,
sucks.
yeah,
But anyway, guys, we're gonna go ahead and talk about this game tonight. Seattle versus Los Angeles, the Seahawks versus the Rams. It should be a good one in the NFC West. I'm expecting it to be a very close game. The Rams right now, they're not the greatest on defense, but the offense has been pretty much carrying the load. And the guy that's been carrying the load is Matt Stafford. And Matt Stafford coming over from the Lions, and you see what the Rams offense is ranking 10th overall in total yards with 1565. They're fourth in points. The passing is fourth with 11 193, 11 touchdowns at second in the league. And but the rushing is with Cam Akers going down, you expected it. They got to get one. They got to get more than one dimensional. They got to become more than one dimensional. I feel like you got to either get the running game going, or you need to go ahead and start spreading it around to other receivers because right now Cooper Kupp leads the Rams with 30 receptions, and I mean you got to go to the guy that's open, but you would like this for him to spread it around a little more. It seemed like the Cardinals had their number. It seemed like they locked down to one guy, and that was Cooper Kupp, and they were able to shut down the Rams last week. How do you feel that? How do you feel the Rams should play today's game? Because the Seattle defense is abysmal right now. They're ranked 32nd in the league.
yeah. I mean, absolutely, and like you touched on right now, I think the Rams definitely. It's a really good game. As far as a good divisional matchup today to establish a run game. Let's have they need to help out Matt Stafford as far as that production is concerned because like I mean all the any sort of contending team as the season progresses they do have a run game that they want to intimidate opposing defenses with, and if Los Angeles can't assemble that, I see some trouble down the road for them, but it should be a really good divisional matchup today. I think both teams are definitely out to prove something today, so it should be a good one.
Yeah, looking at the Rams defense, they're ranked 27th in the league in total yards. They're giving up a lot. Points against, they're ranked 18th, middle of the pack. The passing game has been their best area on defense. The secondary has been their best unit. Eighth in the league, just giving up just over 1,000 yards and only 4 touchdowns. You expect that. Like right now, Russell Wilson hasn't thrown an interception. He hasn't thrown an
No,
interception. He's been doing a decent job. Great. Excuse me, a decent job. He's been doing a phenomenal job keeping the ball, with the Seahawks. And the running game hasn't been too shabby either. 140 rushes in that first game. They've added two more 100-yard rushing days. The lone rushing day that they didn't get 100 yards was that Tennessee Titans game where you guys had came back and beat the Seahawks late. I expect the Seahawks to try to run on this Rams team. Even with a pass rush at eighth, they are ranked 21st in the league. They're giving up just under 500 yards so far with 6 touchdowns. That's tied for 29th in the league, at the bottom of the league.
I agree, and I mean, to me, honestly, with today's matchup, just because of that Rams defense, I'm gonna see. I'm predicting that Russell Wilson is definitely going to get a good mix in there of his establishing a passing game and a run game. I mean, to me, I think the matchup to watch is that that Seattle wide receiver core versus that Rams secondary. I mean, are you going to put Ramsey on number one receiver right now, Tyler Lockett, or are you going to put him on the monster DK Metcalf?
Well,
Both.
it's funny you said that because DK Metcalf, the number one guy. Well, he's not number one. I would say Tyler Lockett's their number one guy, but DK Metcalf he has 10 targets, and this is last year's stats. But off those 10 targets from last year, he's only had 4 receptions off and 44 yards versus a guy like Jalen Ramsey. So, I mean, with the physicality, how his size, his speed, the type of hybrid athlete, the guy's a freak. I mean, he's just, I haven't seen somebody that massive. Maybe T.O. back in the day, like we've, it's rare you come across these like giant Adonis of receivers, that can actually produce. I feel like DK Metcalf's going to be shadowed by Jalen Ramsey all night. I don't see why you wouldn't. Because he's a game breaker, just because he's could dwarf your number one cornerback on normal teams, right? So you have a freak like Jalen Ramsey, a top 10 cornerback like Jalen Ramsey. You have to throw him on DK Metcalf, especially with how he locked him down last year. Only 4 receptions for 44 yards, and that's including the playoffs. You froze? I think we lost Marco right there for a second, but yeah, it's been are we back? Yeah, it's been locked down, Marco. So how do you feel? I feel Jalen Ramsey is going to be on DK. I know you brought up the fact that he could be on Tyler Lockett, their number one receiver. I just think you place your bets with what's worked, and what's worked has been Jalen Ramsey locking down DK Metcalf last year, and I guarantee you're going to find some similar. I mean, guys work out, they get better in the offseason, but Jalen Ramsey is the same guy. I feel like he's the same type of cornerback. I don't see any drop off this season. They are better at the pass than they are the run as a team. Like I said, 8th in the league. I think you keep Jalen Ramsey on DK Metcalf and test your luck there.
Yeah, absolutely, and I could totally see that happening. I mean, why get off the number one guy? It's you definitely. I mean, Jalen Ramsey is always he's always up for the test. He always wants to go up against the best. So DK Metcalf, I mean, obviously, I think he's one of the poster children for the Seattle Seahawks. So why like you bring up past matchups, and why not why take him off? But that I feel like that definitely leaves an exposure to that other core that makes up Seattle. So it's going to be an interesting matchup for sure.
Yeah, going over to Seattle's offense, like I said, they were ranked 19th in the league. They got 103 points for, so they're right behind the Rams in points, who are not, I believe they're 9th in the league. Rams are 4th in the league with 115 points. So it's they're right behind. They're not a bad scoring offense. It's they're about middle of the pack and everything else, though. You know what I'm saying? It's not very. It's not surprising you, right? It's not shocking you. It's not on you. They're keeping their team in the game with as bad as the defense has been playing. And talk about the defense. The defense is, like I said, they're really bad. They're in the league for total yards. They're ranked 32nd, 1778. 1778 with yards given up, and then you got points against 21st with 100. Passing, the passing is 28th with 1170. It's not good. The rushing is dead last, 608. And I expect today with the Rams team that's been, they've been okay with the run. They haven't given as much to Darrell Henderson or Sony Michel as I would expect them to. But I mean, it's hard to go ahead and expect backups to go ahead and carry the load that Cam Akers you would expect to be carrying. Is Darrell Henderson the guy that could do it? I mean, maybe. I feel like I said before, you got to go ahead and find a way to get Matt Stafford some help and spread the love around, because it can't just be him and Cooper Kupp.
No, yeah, and I absolutely agree. I mean, for a team that like at the beginning of the season on paper, Super Bowl, contenders. I mean, my personal pick to go, all the way to the to the big game. You definitely want to see something established, and you brought in Matt Stafford for a reason. You traded your former number one guy, in Jared Goff. You bring this man in, obviously a big difference maker, and the fact that he's not really getting that much help in the backfield, even at wide receiver too.
You can't expect him to do that shit the entire season. You can't expect him to. And I said this forever. You saw how the Raiders ended up taking a loss last week. Well, how did they take a loss? Well, one team can do both, and one team doesn't. You know what I'm saying? One team can run the ball and pass the ball with a really good quarterback, and one team has a quarterback that's playing out of his mind right now, probably the best he's played in his career. And you have a running game that's kind of, to me, I don't trust. I really don't trust the Raiders running game. And that's and that's how I saw the Raiders. I see the Rams is you can't really trust the Rams running game, just like you can't trust the Raiders running game. They're kind of mirror images of each other.
Yeah.
You have to be able to establish both. You have to find a way to establish both. The Raiders with Josh Jacobs, and tonight with the Rams with Darrell Henderson and Sony Michel.
Yeah, and it's with going just staying on Matt Stafford, it's it kind of gives you a reminder of Detroit Lions 2.0, where I mean he was just playing like a beast in Detroit, and what kind of help was he receiving?
The difference is he has a defense. He does have a defense.
Yes, absolutely. But it's I definitely agree with you 100% as far as getting Matt Stafford that help that he needs to be even more productive.
Yeah, and it's the defense can only do so much. It's not doing so hot as far as rushing. I would expect that to change. I don't. The way I see the Seahawks defense, I expect the Rams to control the clock. I expect them to try to run the ball a lot, with the Seahawks being ranked 32nd in the league. They haven't given up a lot of rushing TDs, but they a lot of yardage, and I just don't expect. I like it to be a tight game. I would say 7 points. I'm going to give it. It's a 7-point separation in my mind, but I'm going to go with the Rams in this. I'm going to go with the Rams 27-20. At 27-20, I would say they pick up that extra 7 late. Touchdown separation. You got to score to tie for the Seahawks. I'm going to take the Rams 27-20, just because I don't trust that Seattle defense whatsoever, especially in the run game.
Yeah, and I mean, it's interesting. With your prediction of the game, I'm actually going to keep it tight as well. And I'm definitely going to keep it a close contested game, but I'm definitely going to go Los Angeles Rams 24, Seattle Seahawks 17. I think Seattle definitely struggles throughout the game. Obviously they managed to put up some points. I think Russell Wilson does find Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf, but ultimately I think as close as it's going to stay, I think Los Angeles comes out with a victory today.
Yeah, I could see that. It's you have one. I mean, especially if you have one unit working really, really well, regardless of if you're not spreading the love around. You got to find a way to get Robert Woods. I think Van Jefferson's your second leading receiver as far as yards are concerned.
Yeah.
You got to find a way to get it around. Tyler Higbee only has 15 receptions. You got to be able to not just lock on one guy. And I know Cooper Kupp comes up big in huge situations, but you got exposed last week with the Arizona Cardinals. We just watched the game. Like I just watched the game with like I said, with Las Vegas and LA, that I feel could look similar to tonight. If you can establish a run, I feel like the Los Angeles Rams can have a similar outcome like as the Los Angeles Chargers had. Just kind of run over them in the second half and run away with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and wrap things up. I got to get out of here. I'm going to go play some softball and stuff, maybe drink some beers, relax. We'll be with you in the post game for sure. I know that. Marco, if you got to go to bed, don't worry about it, dude. We'll take care of it. We'll get ready for Sunday. But let me know, and then, like I said, I'll be with you guys in the post game for sure for Seahawks and Rams. Until then, we will see you later. I'm Ivan Vargas. That's Marco Velasquez. Peace.